Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So for today, I'm going to be reviewing A Quiet Place Part 2. Now, I know it's long overdue. This movie came out a month ago, but I wanted to share my thoughts on the movie because, for one, I had it in my most anticipated movies of 2021 list. Not sure where I had it, but I'm pretty sure I had it in there. And two, it was actually my first movie watching back in the theaters, since the whole pandemic. Well, actually, New Mutants was the first one, but it's a little less than a year since I've actually been to the movie theater. So I thought I'd share a little bit of my movie theater experience, just so for you guys who still are kind of reluctant about going to the theaters, and kind of want to know a little bit of what it's like. So for me, I saw A Quiet Place 2. Pretty sure it was the weekend that it came out, or the week after it came out. I saw it that Tuesday, because I think it was Memorial Day weekend. Saw it with my mom, and we both loved it. It was a great movie. As far as the movie theater, we went to Cinemark. About 15, maybe 18 people in there, so it wasn't that bad as far as the viewing. I will say I'm disappointed in how Cinemark now you can't have refills on popcorn, which is understandable, I guess, with they want to be safe and not have any contact, and I feel like it's one of those things that they're trying to do now and enforce. Hopefully they change it in the future, because I love getting my refills, because usually when I'm eating popcorn at the theater, like, that shit goes out by the time the movie starts playing, because I'm already eating it through the trailers and everything else. But no, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I actually will say A Quiet Place, for this movie, it's actually, you can have more freedom watching it instead of the first one, because while the first one, it's completely like soundless, like you can't, like, any noise you make in the movie theater, it's heard. In this one, it gives you a little bit of that freedom, because there's a lot of stuff happening in this movie that has sound, that requires a lot of sound. So I guess you're like me. I ate popcorn. I didn't freak out about it. I wasn't over here like, oh my god, like, let me watch and be careful with every bite I take, because I actually didn't get popcorn the first time when I watched The Quiet Place Part 1. This one, didn't give a fuck. First off, it was my first movie in like 8-9 months, so I was gonna eat popcorn regardless. If you heard me, you heard me. Didn't give zero fucks. As far as the movie, enjoyed it. I felt like the beginning was really good. I love the fact that they brought the whole bat story and like how the like the aliens, like the creatures, their first arrival, and what it was like for the townspeople and John Krasinski, and Emily Blunt, their family, and how it was for them. And man, that first, like, I think 10-15 minutes of the movie, like, probably the best part. Not saying like the rest of the movie was trash or anything like that, but that was the highlight for me. It was definitely interesting to watch. The thing about A Quiet Place that makes it such a good movie in a way is because it doesn't rely, it's not like horror movies nowadays where it relies on jump scares 24/7. For A Quiet Place, it's more, it builds up your anxiety, because it's like it's elements where these characters cannot make a sound or else they die. Like that's what it implies. So like anytime you see them, like, they're either about to touch something or bump into something, or they're closing a door, opening a door. There's one scene where, like, there's a coffee cup on a table and a character's trying to sneak through a window and it almost knocks the coffee cup down. Like, it's moments like that that really build up your anxiety, and they're like, oh my god, like. So I kind of love that feeling that I had throughout when I was watching it. So I think that was definitely a positive for me from the first one and from this one as well. I felt like the plot was good, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, I felt like the middle of the movie and the end of the movie were too close for me. Like, I wish they would have explored more, especially, and I'm about to break into spoilers here, but like the people on the island, I wish they would have maybe had more backstory and background on them, instead of like just them staying there for one day and then shit happens the next day, maybe a few days. And you know, I feel like Emily Blunt's character took a back seat. That was another big problem for me, because I mean, Emily Blunt's a good actress. I mean, she's very good. She was very good in A Quiet Place Part 1, and I mean, she's good in all her other projects as well. I mean, she really sells that shit. When she's scared, like, you see the whole vein popping out, like she's trying to hold her damn, you know, like trying to be silent and shit. And it's like, it's good. Like, I'm sold on that shit. But I do feel like she took a back seat. The daughter, which I think her name's Millicent Simmons, in the movie, she was great in the first one, great in the second one. You can definitely tell that they made her the main character in this one, with her journey. And Cillian Murphy, he was great in the movie as well. So as far as the performances, they were all great. There's no question about that. I do have questions, though, because there were some things that they kind of brought to light in this movie that you're like, okay, it's either it contradicts or it's something that we don't get enough of, or we don't get to explore more of. And for one, you know, the people, the crazy people. So as with all apocalypse movies or TV shows such as The Walking Dead and shit like that, you do get survivors who change, and it was highlighted in the trailer when Cillian Murphy, and he's like, it changes people, like, the world we live in now, like, people are different. And you really get that because there's these people and they're just weird, like, but like at the same time, I don't know what their intentions were. I don't know their backstory. Maybe if they do a third movie, maybe they explore more into those type of people. But like, I really don't know like much about them. Like, you know how in The Walking Dead you had Project Terminal or whatever the hell they called them, and they turned out to, like, that's how they survived, was eating humans. So it's like that. That's what I would say. Like, I wouldn't say they ate people in this movie, but like how people changed and went crazy. They're not as scary in the first movie, because you know that they have weaknesses now, because in the first movie, I mean, obviously towards the end, you see where the daughter amplifies her hearing aid, and you know that's what ends up like killing them, is the one thing that they hunt is sound. So knowing that in this movie, like leading into this movie, that, oh, okay, they have weaknesses, they can be killed, it kind of lowers the level of intensity or anxiety that you have for these characters, and their survival. And it turns out that they have another weakness, which is water. They can't swim. But I don't know, it kind of contradicts, because in the first movie, like in the basement where the mom is with the baby, and you know, you see the creature ends up like just fully diving underneath like the water and shit, and it seems so natural, like in a way, because when you watch in the first movie, you're like, oh, holy shit, like you can't escape these motherfuckers, like they can swim. But it ends up they really can't swim. They can't swim in water, I guess, in oceans or lakes, any deep water. So I wish, you know, I think knowing that now, and that's how they explain like the people living on the island, and why they're able to, you know, have a fire and talk and live a peaceful, nice, normal life, is because we don't have to worry about it, because these creatures can't swim. Like, when it came to the ending of the movie, I was like, holy shit, like, we're already at the end? Like, damn. So I wish there was a bit more, like, as far stretched out, you know, between the middle and the end. So with that, the final grade I would give for A Quiet Place 2 would be an A. You know, I think the first one, I probably gave it an A+. I really love the first one. So the second one, it's only right to give it an A. I think it's not as good as the first one, but still, it's a great movie. I'm glad that I put in my top 10 most anticipated movies. It didn't disappoint me. And yeah, I just love the experience of watching it. I love watching with my mom, and enjoyed her reactions, her little jump scares, because she gets scared at everything. But it was a fun watch. The cast was great. I mean, throughout all around, even the baby cried at the right times, was great. Like, give credit to the baby. So, and I would love to see how they expand. Maybe if they make a third movie, do they go further back and or maybe give more of a backstory, like as to how people adjusted to living their lives without sound. As far as like taking off their shoes and walking around bare feet and just carefully living. Like the adjustment period. I would love to see something like that along those lines. If they made a third movie, I would also love to see, the group of people like survivors who kind of went crazy in this movie. I would love to see more of their backstory and how they like became to be who they are now, and also their intentions, because I'm still confused as to what the hell they really wanted or were trying to do in this movie. But yeah, those are my thoughts on A Quiet Place 2. If you like this review, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and be sure to tune in for more. Also, I would love to hear your guys' views in the comment section, like your opinion of how you would go out if you were involved in the Quiet Place universe. Like, how would you, if you died and you made a sound, what would it be? Would it be like farting or snoring? Like, I would love to hear how you would go out, or would you go out? Would you survive? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. For me, I probably would snore or yawn really loud after waking up in the morning. So that's me, but I would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And yeah, that'll be all, you guys. Deuces.